Good morning students, welcome to lecture number 30. In this class we shall discuss about image enhancement using homomorphic filtering. So here is the disclaimer. So right now we are into this topic, image enhancement. In the last few classes we have discussed about the various filters in spatial domain and frequency domain. We also seen the histogram based processing, and in today's class we shall discuss about homomorphic filtering. Now this topic is common to both ECI as well as IARF students. Now let us try to understand what is this homomorphic filtering. Okay, before that let us check out what is the outcome. So here you see the input image, and when I apply the algorithm based on homomorphic filtering, this is what I get as an output image. So you see, basically this approach enhances the image. So it's a part of image enhancement. Now this homomorphic filtering is a generalized technique for signal and image processing, and it involves linear mapping to a different domain in which linear filter techniques are applied, followed by mapping back to the original domain. So this concept was developed in the year 1960 by Thomas Stockham, Alan Oppenheim, and Ronald Schaffer, working at MIT. So it is inherently used for image enhancement. It simultaneously normalizes the brightness across the image and increases the contrast. It is also used to remove multiplicative noise. Illumination and reflectance that we are going to study in detail in the next few slides. This, as I said, like illumination and reflectance are not separable, but their approximate locations in the frequency domain may be located, because this illumination and reflectance are associated with low frequency coefficients and high frequency coefficients. And in the previous lectures we have discussed in length how we can localize this, low order frequency coefficient and high frequency coefficient. So this illumination and reflectance combine multiplicatively. The components are made additive by taking the logarithm of the image intensity, so that all these multiplicative components of the image can be separated linear in the frequency domain. We'll try to understand the meaning of this statement in a short while. Now this illumination variations can be thought of as a multiplicative noise and can be reduced by filtering in the log domain. To make the illumination of an image more even, the high frequency components are increased and the low frequency components are decreased, because the high frequency components are assumed to represent mostly the reflectance in the scene, that is, the amount of light reflected off the object in the scene, whereas the low frequency components are assumed to represent mostly illumination in the scene. That is, high pass filtering is used to suppress low frequencies and amplify high frequencies in the log intensity domain. Now let us try to understand the operation of homomorphic filter. So as what we have discussed, this homomorphic filter uses a slightly different approach compared to the frequency domain filters that we have studied so far. Before studying the homomorphic filter, we need to understand the image formation model. We all know that the image is a 2D function. Fine. A gray level, that is a monochrome image, is given as f of x comma y, where this f is the gray level and x and y are the spatial coordinates. Now this is clear to everyone. Now images that we see are formed due to the fact that there is some amount of light falling on the object and some amount of light reflecting from the object. Now the light falling on the object is referred to as illumination. So this is the light falling on the object, and we have another term associated, that is reflectance. And now what is this reflectance? This is the light reflecting from the object. Fine. So these are the two terms, the illumination and reflectance. So you can think of a light source as an illumination, and whatever light that is being reflected from the object is termed as reflectance. Now let us recollect the concept of electromagnetic spectrum. Since the images that we see fall in the electromagnetic spectrum, we can write f of x comma y. Now let me draw the structure, a diagram. So here is the source of illumination. Fine. So I can mark this as illumination, and after striking this particular object, some part of light is getting reflected back. So this is nothing but a reflection. Clear? So this, as what we have discussed, f of xy is characterized by two components. The first component is the amount of light, incident on the object, on the object, and this is what is being referred as illumination. And similarly, the second component is the amount of light reflected by the object. And this is referred to as reflection. So I hope these two terms are clear to everyone, and these are referred to as I of x comma y, and this term reflection is denoted as r of x comma y. Now these two combine as a product to form f of x comma y. So we have I of x comma y into r of x comma y, where I of x comma y is greater than 0 but less than infinity, and r of x comma y is greater than 0 and less than 1. Now here this 0, it indicates the total absorption, while this 1, this limit indicates total reflectance. Okay, these are the limits. Now this homomorphic filtering uses this illumination reflectance model to filter the images in the frequency domain. So this homomorphic filtering, it uses the illumination and reflectance model to filter the images in the frequency domain. Now in case of homomorphic filtering, we separate the illumination and reflectance components and work with them separately. So from the previous discussion, f of xy is equal to the product of I of x comma y and r of x comma y, where I is the illumination component and r is the reflectance component. The low frequencies are associated with illumination and high frequency coefficients are associated with reflectance component. This is most important. Fine. Now we cannot directly take the Fourier transform, since f of x comma y is not equal to the Fourier transform of I of x comma y into Fourier transform of r of x comma y. So this does not hold true, and hence we cannot directly apply the Fourier transform to this particular equation. So the only choice that is left here is to separate the I and r component. So to separate I and r component, wherein the I is the illumination and r is the reflectance component, we need to use the log function. So we use a log function. So we can write this as z of x comma y equals to logarithmic function of f of x comma y. Since it is a multiplication here, so in terms of logarithmic function it will be a addition. So I can write this as z of x comma y equals to ln I of x comma y plus natural log r of x comma y. Now this is the preliminary all important equation. Fine. So here we know f of x comma y is the product of illumination and reflectance, but then we directly cannot apply Fourier transform. Why? Because we need to move in the frequency domain. So the option is to apply a Fourier transform, but this condition does not hold true. So what we do is we apply a log function to separate them out, and then we are going to work individually upon the I component and the r component. So here on, so using logarithmic function, we have separated the illumination component I of xy and the logarithmic then the reflectance component r of x comma y. Now the next step is to take the Fourier transform to move into the frequency domain. So now take Fourier transform. And why do we need to take the Fourier transform? To work in the frequency domain. And why do we work in the frequency domain? We can easily localize the low frequency coefficient and the high frequency coefficient, and secondly the computation time using the frequency domain is very much less as compared to the spatial domain. So let me apply the Fourier transform to the equation which we have written in the previous slide. So let us apply the Fourier transform to this particular equation. So this equation becomes Fourier transform of the function z of x comma y. This has to be always capital F I of x comma y plus f of r of x comma y. Okay. Now here the Fourier transform of z of x comma y can be written as capital Z, small u comma v, the variables, and here I can write this as f of subscript I, f sub I u comma v plus f sub r u comma v. Okay, let us elaborate, where f of I u comma v equals to Fourier transform of natural log I of x comma y, and f of r u comma v equals to Fourier transform of the function natural log of r of x comma y. Okay, so now as you all know, we need to have a filter. Fine, now we are going to make use of a filter h of u comma v. Okay, so therefore, so this is the function what we are having in terms of the illumination and reflectance. Fine, and the combined value is taken to be as z of u comma v. So this is our input signal, input image, and to this input image we have to multiply the filter in the frequency in the Fourier transform of your h of x comma y, that is capital H u of v. So I can write this as s of u v is equal to z of u v into h of u v. The convolution in the spatial domain or the time domain is a multiplication in frequency domain. So let us write this z of u v in terms of these two functions. So I can write this as f of I u v into h of u v plus f of r u v into h of u comma v. Fine. Next, the key approach in homomorphic filtering is to separate the illumination and reflectance coefficient. So this is the illumination coefficient, here is the reflectance counterpart of it. So the key approach as far as homomorphic filtering is concerned is to separate the illumination and the reflectance components. Between them, I of x comma y, okay, it contributes to the low frequency. Why? Because the illumination is more or less uniform, and we know what is low frequency component, which is not varying. Fine, which is providing you the average information. So here we can say the illumination, okay, is more or less uniform. Fine, and r of x comma y, it contributes to the high frequency component. It contributes to the high frequency components. Now what is the reason for this? Because this the reflectance r of x comma y tends to vary abruptly at junctions. Okay, so this r of x comma y tends to vary abruptly at junctions, and that's the reason why we encounter the edges. Okay, so if there are some dissimilar objects, that the line will be contributing to the high frequency coefficients. So this part has to be very much clear. The illumination is associated with the low frequency components, and the reflectance is associated with high frequency component, and this is the reason. Okay, illumination is considered to be uniform, and the reflectance tends to vary abruptly at the junctions of dissimilar objects. Fine. Now let us mark this as YH and this as YL. Now generally this value of YL is less than 1 and Y of H is greater than 1. Now H of UV tends to decrease the contribution made by low frequencies. Look at the slope here. Okay, and it amplifies the contribution made by high frequencies. So let me write this statement: the H of UV tends to decrease the contribution. So, and we know that what is associated with high frequencies as far as image modeling is concerned, that is the reflectance. So idea over here is to separate out the illumination and reflectance and then work individually on this two components. Fine. Now the all important question is, how do we get back the modified image? So we have written here in this expression, S of UV is nothing but application of the filter H of UV to the input image Z of UV, and for that we have separated out the input images Fi and Fr, illumination and reflectance counterpart. Fine. Now presently we are working in the frequency domain, so to actually view the view the image, we have to get the image back in the spatial domain, that is in terms of x, y, the spatial coordinates. Fine. Right now it is in the frequency domain. So entire processing is done in the frequency domain, and finally the object has to be mapped back to the spatial domain for viewing. Now we can write S of U, V equals to, from our previous discussion, H of UV into Fi U of V plus H of UV into Fr U, V. So this is in the frequency domain. To come back to the spatial domain, so right now this is in the frequency domain. To bring back this in the spatial domain, what we need to do is we have to apply the inverse Fourier transform. Apply inverse Fourier transform. So S of x, y equals to inverse to this function S of U, V. So this will be, you can separate this out as this particular equation, H of UV Fi U of V, close the bracket, plus inverse Fourier transform of this particular component, that is H of UV Fr U of V. Fine. So S of x, y. So once I solve this, I'm going to get this as I prime x, y plus r prime x, y. Now there's one important step we still are yet to complete. See, in case of the homomorphic filtering, the first step is that we take the log, isn't it? Now hence here we need to take the inverse operation, that is the exponential operation. You know that the inverse of log operation is exponential operation. Fine. So now we'll take the exponential operation. So g of xy equals to e raised to, why this is appearing here, exponential function? Recollect, right in the beginning we said like we cannot apply the Fourier transform directly to the multiplicative component, so for that reason we have separated them out in the logarithmic function using the logarithmic function. So now we need to apply the inverse of it, and inverse of logarithmic function is exponential function. So this is how it can be written out. So e raised to, now again s of xy from the previous discussion here is additive component, and addition in the exponential domain is multiplication. So I prime x comma y into e r prime x comma y. So after solving this, let us say we get the answer as IO, meaning output of the illumination component into r naught of x comma y, where IO x comma y is equal to e I prime x of y and RO x comma y equals to e raised to r prime x comma y. Okay, so therefore we can represent this entire operation in form of this block diagram. So we have the input image f of xy. We cannot apply directly the Fourier transform to the image f of xy because it is in terms of illumination and reflectance. Illumination contributes to your low frequency component, reflectance contributes to your high frequency components. So we cannot simply apply the Fourier transform as it is. So we exploit the property of multiplication into addition by applying the logarithmic operation. Okay, once we separate them out as I and R, we apply the Fourier transform individually to them, and then we apply the h of uv. And what is this h of uv? It is the filter. Okay, let me write the function for h of uv, the equation for filter. It is yh minus yl into 1 minus e raised to c d square uv by d naught square plus y into L. Now what is this d square u of v? It is the Euclidean distance that we have discussed in detail for low pass filter, high pass filter. If you recollect, the ideal low pass filter, Gaussian low pass filter, Butterworth low pass filter, and similarly the same thing has been discussed for the high pass filter as well. D naught is the cutoff frequency, and we have seen like in case of low pass filter, if I simply increase the value of D naught, this results in the ringing effect. So finally we make use of D naught equals to 5, and we have seen like how the slope changes with the value of n and so on. So D naught is the cutoff frequency. This is the Euclidean distance. What about C? This is a constant. C is a constant which is used to control the sharpness. And then again we have to apply the inverse Fourier transform, and since we have applied the logarithmic operation right in the beginning, so inverse of log is the exponential function, and once we apply the exponential function we get the final output as g of x comma y equals to the product of these two terms. Fine. In brief, any image is composed of two components, illumination and reflectance. Illumination is associated with the low frequency component, the reflectance is associated with the high frequency components. So basically we are playing with the low frequency and high frequency components here using a filter h of u comma v. So with that we have come to an end of this lecture. These are the textbooks which I have referred to. Okay, thank you.